Copyright lawsuit threatens reggaeton genre. What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name's Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, filming this video on December 24th, 2023, out here in Budapest, Hungary. Now, I'm not an expert on reggaeton. To be frank with you, I don't even like the genre, but I did go to university. I studied music industry studies, and looking back at my life, what I should have done is went to law school so I could be a music attorney so I can help file these cases, because too much copyright infringement happens to black music and black artists. Everybody bites from our style, steals our tunes, steals our swag, and makes millions off of it, and then hates on black life. So I find this lawsuit very interesting, and I actually have the document right here, and maybe I'll read this lawsuit actually on the stream, because I find this very, very fascinating, and I like reading these legal cases. But I've never seen a legal case like this, where they actually pull out the music notes. I've never seen a document like this before. They have the music notes for the music that they say reggaeton bit from, and then compares it to the, art that came afterwards. Find this very, very fascinating, very cool. So let's jump into this. This was written for Techno Llama, but I think originally it was published in Billboard, and the story has been out there for a while. Here we have this famous meme of the man who can't decide what to do. The one button says, "Let reggaeton exist," and the other one says, "Copyright overreach." And the man is sweating and he doesn't know what to do. So let's get into the story, and I'll be giving my take. So there's a fascinating case developing in the U.S. Complaints here, courtesy of Simon Garrigat. I know Simon must be a very handsome man, which could have a lasting effect in the reggaeton music genre. In 1989, Cleveland Clevie Brown and Wycliffe Steely Johnson released Fish Market, which introduced an iconic drum beat that would affect a generation. The rhythm, or Riddim, was used in a more popular song also written by them called Dembow, which spawned the dembow music genre. Dembow was adopted by the Dominican Republic music scene, especially the Bajo Mundo genre, and it would become the foundation of what is now known as reggaeton, influencing Latin American pop music in the following decades. Now, the thing about Jamaican music is that a lot of their artists take and borrow from each other's rhythms. So, like, if somebody has a hot beat, every Jamaican artist will rap on that beat or sing on that beat or do their interpretation of that beat. And we have something very similar in hip hop, at least. Like, if there's a hot beat, Wayne will rap on it. Other people will release their freestyles on that beat. So it's something very similar in the music. It seems like in the Caribbean culture, even in the Anglophone world and the Spanish-speaking world of the Caribbean music scene, they possibly borrow each other's rhythms and stuff like that. But no rhythm took off like the one for Dembow or Fish Market, which has become reggaeton. And one of the things I don't like about reggaeton is the repetitive beats. A lot of it sounds the same to me. And I know I sound like an old white man talking about all hip-hop sounds the same. I can't tell the difference, but it's just not for me. And it has nothing to do with it being Spanish music or anything like that. It's just the same beat over and over again with different people singing over it. So it's hard for me to get into. Anyway, over 30 years later, Steely and Clevie Productions is suing prominent reggaeton artists like Bad Bunny, El Chambo, Luis Fonsi, and Daddy Yankee for unauthorized use of this rhythm. The lawsuit, involving thousands of songs, including hits like Despacito, could have significant repercussions in pop music, challenging norms in rhythm usage and copyright. The case highlights issues of cultural appropriation and economic disparity in music. Is copying a music beat copyright infringement or cultural appropriation? Did Steely and Clevie really come up with the dembow rhythm, or was this just the first time a popular Jamaican street beat had been recorded in a fixed medium? So I have to be honest with you. To the first question, is copying a music beat copyright infringement? Generally, no, because what I learned in university is that all parts of music can be copywritten except the drums, which I find to be somewhat, how can I say this? It's a bit racist in the law, because think about it. Like, drums, the percussions are part of every beat. Every beat has to have some sort of drums or some sort of percussion or rhythm, right? Generally. And the guitar riff can be copywritten. The piano keys that are playing a certain melody can be copywritten. A harpsichord, whatever, all those can be protected. But the drums, usually which are tied to, Black and African music, can't be copywritten and that sort of stuff. Now, on one hand, I can see why a drum beat can't be copywritten, because there are only so many rhythms you can come up with, right? And a lot of music is on 4/4 time. So of course there are going to be some beats that copy the same drum pattern. You get what I'm saying? But it's still a bit disheartening that the music that often comes from black people, which is rhythm based, can't be protected under normal copyright law, at least under U.S. copyright law. And that's what I remember learning from school. Yeah, did that beat happen before? I mean, of course. I mean, nothing new is under the sun. So it's possible that the dembow rhythm, or what was on the first song, Fish Market, had already been in the streets of Jamaica or something like that. But this is maybe the first time they put it on record. So I do think that the Jamaican artists don't get enough credit, because when we think of reggaeton, we don't think of its origins that are tied to black and black artists that come from the Caribbean, like these people, Cleveland, Clevie Brown, and Wycliffe Steely. I never heard of them before, and I think a lot of people don't give them the credit that they deserve, and they possibly don't have the financial credit that they deserve for their contributions to music. Going to continue here. There appears to be no question that reggaeton has strong influence from Fish Market. Steely and Clevie Productions claims the success of Shabba Ranks' Dembow, which included lawful use of the Fish Market rhythm, crediting Stevie and Clevie as co-writers, inspired other artists to copy the rhythm. Brown and Johnson claimed that the artists named in the lawsuit would have had access to Fish Market because of its wide availability, and that they also would have had access to Bobo General and Sleepy Wonder's Pounder, another song from 1990 whose rhythm Brown and Johnson say is substantially similar, if not virtually identical, to that of Fish Market. You can hear some of the rhythm in hits such as Daddy Yankee's Gasolina and Bad Bunny's Titi Me Pregunto. One of the issues in the lawsuit is whether the dembow rhythm is protectable under copyright law in the U.S. Another issue is whether the plaintiffs have waited too long to file the lawsuit. Why wait for the field of reggaeton to develop without taking action? So, I mean, this is the similar argument that people say to women like Cassie or other people who come out and accuse very powerful men of sexual assault or grape or something like that. They say, why did you wait so long? Why did you wait so long? Well, sometimes you don't have the means or the capacity when the assault or when the infringement is happening to actually file a complaint or have the ability to do so, or even know what's happening. Possibly Stevie and Clevie, I'm going to call them that, Steely and Clevie, have been asleep for 20 years. Maybe they've been in hibernation. And then they wake up and find out, wow, they turn on the radio and there's this guy from Colombia, no, Puerto Rico, sorry. Isn't Bad Bunny from Puerto Rico? Whatever. Some guy is out there with their beat making the biggest music in the world, and they say, wait a minute, we don't have our checks. We don't have our credit. Where are the sample clearances? Nobody asked us if they could use our beat like this. You get what I'm saying? So possibly they didn't know what was happening. Who knows? Who knows? Either way, we shouldn't fault people for coming so late on filing lawsuits or seeking how can I say this, remuneration or recuperation for their grievances. That's my opinion. So the lawsuit is massive. It involves 1,800 songs from more than 160 defendants. Needless to say, musicians have gotten together to have the case dismissed, based mostly on the question of whether a basic drum beat is copyrightable. The motion to dismiss was discussed in a hearing in front of District Judge Andre Birot Jr., who used to be a DJ. As a former DJ myself, I empathize. In the hearing, the judge expressed concern that the lawsuit could stifle creativity in the reggaeton genre. Stifle creativity in the reggaeton genre. Yeah, the creativity of not using the same beats over and over again for the same songs. Yes, the creativity shall be stifled. Maybe this lawsuit is what motivated Bad Bunny to release Monaco. Billboard called Monaco like the #1 song this year, and Monaco sounds like a Future song. Monaco sounds like a Young Thug song. Monaco sounds like something that Gunna would do. I hope one day hip-hop will come together, unify, and file lawsuits against all the other off-whites across the world who are stealing our style, stealing our swag, stealing our music, making millions off of it, billions off of it, right? And not giving credit to the artists that who were the progenitors of the form. Going to continue. So the defendants argued that the drum rhythm in Fish Market is not protectable under copyright law. They also argue that the plaintiffs waited too long to file the lawsuit and that they have not adequately proven that their work is original. The judge commented during the hearing, how would you distinguish this, if at all, from the traditional dancehall rhythms used since I was a kid in reggae? If you go on the streets of Jamaica, big speakers, same beat, Judge Baroda asked. Again, I was a college party music DJ. I had probably hundreds. Hopefully this is beyond the statute of limitations. Hundreds of CDs from the streets of New York and New Jersey with literally the same rhythm running for 45 minutes. This is the judge speaking. This is the thing, man. This is the great thing about America, man. We let so many immigrants in who have so many like different backgrounds and stuff like that. They get into positions of power and then they're empathetic to the people who come in front of them who have their similar backgrounds. This is what the white supremacists have been doing for a long time, right? You know, this is why so many white murderers, mass murderers, people who committed racist, vile attacks on our people were able to get away because the judge was a good old boy who said, oh, these are just a bunch of kids, or the police can never do anything wrong, so beating up Rodney King was okay and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? So the judge is Jamaican and says, you know what? These Jamaicans have a point. This does sound like all of our music in reggaeton. That's very interesting. The lawsuit has sparked a debate about the scope of copyright protection for musical rhythms. Some experts argue that the rhythm in Fish Market is sufficiently original to be protected under copyright law, while others argue that it is simply a common element of reggaeton music that cannot be protected. It will come as no surprise that I tend to side with the reggaeton artists here for various reasons. All right, by the way, this is not me speaking. This is what the writer of this is saying. All right, experts have claimed that the drums in Fish Market were not novel, and while novelty is not a copyright test, it is relevant if they're trying to protect something as basic as a beat, which is the building block of music. It's possible that the beat is not their creative creation, but just a recording of already popular rhythms. I'm also bothered that they're trying to protect the rhythm itself. It has become clear that while some of the early Jamaican dembow hits use samples from Fish Market, most of the reggaeton versions come from different traditions from the Dominican Republic, which it spread to Puerto Rico and New York. No, where it spread to Puerto Rico and New York. It seems like none of the reggaeton songs use samples. They're just using the same beats. Okay. So once again, first and foremost, I'm not the only person saying reggaeton is using the same beat, so don't come for me. Secondly, I want to talk about what he said. So experts claim that the drums in Fish Market were not novel. Who are the experts? I mean, cite your sources. While the novelty is not a copyright test, it is relevant if they're trying to protect something as basic as a beat. I do think beats should be protected, not basic, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 clap, 1, 2, 3, 4 clap, you know what I mean? Not those sorts of beats. But I think like, how can I say this? By the way, you can tell that I have not studied music in a long time because I did a 1, 2, 3, 4 clap. What's a 5 beat? 1, 2, 3 clap. 1, 2, 3 clap. Anyway, I think what could help the reggaeton artists in their lawsuit is if they're able to find any clips or recordings or speech from the artists that they're suing. To that said, yeah, we were inspired by the dembow rhythm, or we really got our inspiration from the song Fish Market or something like that. If they're able to find any evidence like that, that could help the Jamaican artists in making the claim that reggaeton samples heavily from their music and steals from it. So, I'm going to jump here. I also think that the protection of basic musical elements is extremely problematic. This is close to protecting an idea and not the expression of the idea. And it is as close to creating a copyright monopoly as I've ever seen before. That's not what copyright is for. Finally, I'm not the biggest fan of modern reggaeton. It all sounds the same to me. See, I'm not the only one. I am not the only one, even the writer of this article. But if the lawsuit affects Ven by Lalo by Angel and Chris, this will become personal. I guess he likes that song. I've never heard it before. Either way, I think this lawsuit has a long way to go. I honestly think they won't win, but I hope that they do, to make sure that the Jamaican artists, the black artists who are the originators of so many art forms, and yet we still are economically deprived. We are the ones who don't get the credit. People don't think of the black faces that created this music that's so loved around the world. Women go crazy over reggaeton and Bad Bunny and Maluma and all that sort of stuff. Yet and still, we have to remember that almost everything that's cool in the world comes from people that look like me, and we need to be compensated for that. And that's all I have to say about that. Maybe I'll read this case in the live stream. Y'all let me know in the comments what you want me to do. My name's Simon Hill. Merry Christmas. Peace.